How's it going, everyone? I'm Carl, welcome to Waterside Workshop. So today we're going to work on the side of this Citroen C1. It's been pushed right in the sill and up into the quarter. What I'm going to do, I'm about to grind all this out, and then we're going to try and get this massive dent pulled forward. Got the gear, got the slide hammer, dent puller if we need it with different attachments, and then we've got the big grabber if we need to do something like we're doing right now. So what we're going to do is get in there and see what we can do. I'm going to use the old mini grinder to get in there and bare metal all this first, so we've actually got stuff to weld to. Then we'll get the old welder on and we'll start using it. I said I'd do a video showing a bit of this because I haven't done any, and I'll use it on loads and loads of repairs. It's a pain because this quarter's already had a repair and it's been done really poor, so I hope it's not going to react with anything I'm going to do. But let's get started and see what we can do. So I'll give you a close-up of the repair before we start grinding, just so you can see how bad it actually is. It's quite nasty, but the old gear here should help us out and should be able to pull it out. Okay, so first things first, put the old protective gear on. You definitely don't want to be flicking things up into your eyes. Give it a little blow down. Now, our major bits is obviously this huge piece here, so let's get in there. So from first inspection, it's nice and solid, which is nice. There's a couple of bubbles here, but nothing to worry about, sort of thing. I'm going to deal with them afterwards. Just waiting for the old compressor to catch back up. So when I lose the pressure, that starts to slow down a bit. pain when the end bits come off. So we've got to work to sort of here really, but we might as well go to the end. What I'll do is I'll stop here and I'll just get all this bare metal and I'll bring it back afterwards, because obviously it's going to take me 5-10 minutes the way the compressor's going. Okay, so we're all ground down. I've blown it all down. We've put the earth on. All you do to put the earth on is you hold it against the bodywork, put the triangle there and just pull the trigger 2 or 3 times and then just wind that out and away you go. I've had a couple of pulls along here. Seem to be pulling quite easy actually, which is quite impressive. It's moving a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Well, it was going to be a lot tighter because of how creased it is. Some of the welds are a bit of a pain. Sometimes I wait and do it 2 or 3 times, and you know it's definitely connected. Like so. Lovely. As you can see, it's coming out a lot. I've got to try and get the roundness. I'm starting to get it along the bottom here. Obviously I've still got to pull all this to match it afterwards, but just to give you an idea. That is really pulling out. Lovely. That's what I like to see. Try and keep sort of a line down the middle. So just try and keep your line somewhere in the middle when you've got a crease dent like this. You're not going to get it every single time where you want it, but it's really coming out. Right, we'll go a little bit higher now, so we want a bit more of that to come out of the top there. See where I'm starting to get the shape of the sill again. Obviously we've got a long way to go still. This bit here is the top, so we want that to nearly be straight. Ooh, that was a big pull. That was a big pull. Really, I should go and get an Allen key and sort that out, but I want to carry on while I was moving. It's definitely coming out. I'm going to get an Allen key for that because I don't want it to keep moving. I want it to be nice and solid, but as you can see, we're starting to get a line across there already, which is lovely. Right, I've tightened up all the tips and stuff, so we should be able to carry on nicely. That's better. Definitely coming out. Lovely job. Oh, I don't mind it if I come out too far, because I'm going to tap it all into shape afterwards. But to be fair, it's coming out nice. It probably don't look pretty on camera, but that hasn't got to look pretty. It's got to look like it's doing the job, which it is, 100%. The thing is, that's got to taper off into here. That's not straight, it goes at an angle like that, so it's got to taper off outwards, which it's now starting to do. Tips coming loose again. Keeping the Allen key in the box now. It does that, you can sort of spin it around if you want to. I like to keep using the same bit really. Lovely. So the trick is to get this out as far as possible and then tap it back into shape. Go over the top of these little bits, obviously where you pulled out, grind it all, and then you can blend from that line downwards. But the better you get the metal, the less filler you have to put in there, and obviously the less filler is the best. It's starting to warm up and come out now. It's exactly what we wanted. Still a little dent there. I don't know how much of it you want to see, so I'm just going to let it run for now. And if you don't want to see all of it, then you can always skip a bit further into the video. Well, I've never shoot this on the channel before, so I thought I'd show you a whole repair. I mean, a lot of people would cut across there, cut across here and put another piece of sealing, but you don't need to. If you put the effort into pulling it out, then you'll get to the point where you need to be. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the earth down to here where it's all finished. So you can see that go on, because I need to get to this area here now. So all you do is wind that back a little bit, hold that basically where you want it to be. Just pull it 3 times. That's what I do anyway. I always find that 3 times on this seem to be the sweet spot. Do the thingy up, it's nice and tight. And then we can start working our way along. So remember, we've got to go like that. We're looking at this shape here, so we've got 2 shapes to get right. But we're doing pretty well so far. Once the machine warms up, as you can see, just one push of the gun is enough to get it moving and get it tacked on. Now obviously I've been doing this for years, so I've got a bit of experience, but that's quite easy to pick up once you get going. As you'll see, the old tip's starting to spin again. You don't want too much black where it's welding on the tip there. As you can probably tell, once you get sort of a move on, that can happen quite quickly. This bit here is near enough perfect. Got a little dip there. Not anymore, we ain't. Obviously it's going a bit wavy, but that's not a problem, because let's say we can knock that back down and regrind it to get all these heads off. This bit here is where it's a bit tough, but we will get it. Here it comes. Definitely coming out nice. Starting to get the shape. Try not to leave any low spots if I can help it. There ain't many if there is any. as you move different areas and stuff, you'll see other bits of the panel move. Just through experience, you'll know where to go next, sort of thing. If you don't, just sort of work in a circle pattern as you go around. Just look for your little low spots as you go along. It's definitely a lot tougher than this end. But it is going. Well, I knew it would be tougher there because that's where the impact started. And that's where sort of more the bigger crease is. Oh, right. So what I was going to do is I was going to set this up and pull it all in one, but because I need a shape to there and then downwards, I need two different shapes. So it's a bit of a pain. But I could have done that. There's lots of ways of using the machine, but this is just my preferred method. So just working little circles. It's working lovely. It ain't going to take much more and you won't even know that's even been hit. The little sparks and stuff just means I could do cleaning the end of the tip. Woohoo, we are really getting some shape now. If you get too many of these little heads everywhere, all you've got to do is grind them off. Then you can carry on again, because then you can see where you are, you can feel better where you are. I'll do it now just to show you, because I need to anyway. I've still got the old goggles on the head. It's a pain at the moment having to use this grinder. Not this grinder, there's this compressor. I'm using a little compressor at the moment because my big one's got a motor gone and they want like £1,000 to fix it and I can't use it at the moment. So I'm literally using a tyre one at the moment just to be able to carry on using it. Like I say, I'm getting to that point where I know I need to start shaping it a little bit now. I need a bit more down at the top of here. And normally I'd be able to get that perfectly smooth with the grinder, but because that's been a bit of a pain, I might have to just get the old electric one in a minute and just use that. So next I've got me little body hammer. What I'm doing on this edge is I'm hitting but sliding downwards, trying to like persuade the metal to go where I want it to. You see what I mean? If you find the metal's rock solid and not moving how you want it to, this is quite solid to be fair. Then all you got to do is get your blowtorch and just warm it up a little bit, and that'll soon do that. All I'm doing really is just hitting anything that's too high up now. I can see across here I need to pull a bit more. I've got like a hole there I need to pull, and then a lot of this is high, so we're starting to get there. Lovely. You'll notice I'm working mainly down the middle on the crease, because that's what's going to reshape the metal, pull it back to where it sort of originally was, if that makes sense. The more you get that crease out, the more shape you'll get back. I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything, but this is how I do mine, and that always seemed to, well, not seem, it does work out every time. You've seen me do plenty of other cars, and when you see a big quarter pushed in, like on that black Corsa, I had a big quarter dent there, if you remember that. This is what I do. With that one I did actually use this, and I pulled it a few times. What you basically do is that pull a bit works really well, but at the moment this has got a load of different shapes. We want this to look exactly how it's meant to look. Not half a job, not a little bit done, but absolutely spot on. It's come loose on the end again, and you're going to want an Allen key just to keep tightening up. Really starting to get some shape now. So you don't want to go too far, otherwise you'll lose what you're trying to build. You do need a bit in there. See how that moved it? Reshaped the whole structure just by one pull. If you want perfect lines, you can get a flat edge driller and test them, but that's going a bit too far, I think. You never going to absolutely finish it on the metal work. You can, that's a lie. You can keep grinding it and pulling it, keep grinding it, keep tapping it around, and you can get it to the point where you don't need to put any filler in. But right, I think I'm at the point where you got the idea. You can see exactly where I am. So what I'll do is I'll get a normal grinder so I can just do it all in one hit, and we'll grind that all right back, and we'll see what sort of shape we have. I'll show you from the side. I'll show you we've already got that line across there, and then we've already got this line along the bottom here as well. I can feel there's a tiny little bit just under there, so we'll get that. There's a couple of bubbles here, so we're going to do them anyway, so we'll get that little bit there. When I got it jacked up, at the moment I kept it on the ground because I want to see the shape, I want to see the reflection of this line, and I want to see everything that's going on. This bit up is probably not worth pulling. That'll just be a tiny little grind back, quick skim with some like surface filler, like some final filler, and that'll be the end of that bit. That's not really deep, to be honest. That's literally right on the surface. It's just a little scrape. It's not worth worrying about. But this is obviously a bit more major. This is the way I definitely do it. And so you could have cut that out across there and welded a new piece, but not a lot of point really. You're keeping all the strength like this. I mean, that's rock solid. I could smash that with a hammer and that'd still be good. Right, I'm going to get a grinder and we'll cut it back. So got the little goggles on again. So I plugged in a electric grinder just so I can hit it all in one hit. If you've got a really fancy car you're doing this to, then that's a good idea to cover up your panels and your glass for sparks and stuff. But it should be okay right down low like this. Right, let's do it. Now, when you've just done that, a little tip is that'll be hot. So if you need to knock anything into shape, do it now. I can feel some bits are still quite high. Nothing worse worse than having it too high. Obviously it's a bit of trial and error if you haven't got the experience of getting it straight, but basically what you're doing is just knocking all the high bits down. Try and get your bottom edge right and your top edge right and your line right the best you can. On the other side you've got a pointed bit if you've got any really nasty bits sticking up. I've got a couple. Just sticky outy bits. And then we're pretty much straight. I'll give it another grind because I want it to grip onto a little bit of filler we're going to have to put in. If you watch me when I'm going like that with it, where I'm just going zoom, 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 what I'm doing is I'm trying to smooth the metal out like that, and then you'll see the low spots afterwards, and you'll know where you need to fill. Now, I don't get much better than that. I'll bring you off the stand and I'll bring you down the sides and show you how straight we are. And we basically have got the seal back. Obviously that's really hard to show on camera, but if you look down there, I'll get really close as much as I can. You can see all the little bits in the middle we've got to fill. We could pull some more if we wanted to, but we don't really need to. So we've got our top lines and we've got our bottom lines. We've got our shape. If you look from the top, we've got our shape again. Look from the side, it's pretty much there. Not bad. So next thing I'm going to do is I've got a DA sander with a bit of 80 grit sandpaper on it. So I just want to prep up around the edges because you don't want to fill to a shiny bit of paint. If you haven't got a sander, just do it by hand or do whatever you have to do. Get an electric one. make sure we've got any rusty bits that we get rid of. And there is a tiny bit there we need to get rid of. There's actually another little tiny crease there. Pretty much where you're going to get to. I was going to sand them right out, but they're actually just little scratches into the paint. So what I'm doing here is I've just got a bit of panel wipe and a cloth. That's just to get rid of all the dust and all the area we've been working basically. Don't fill straight over the top of that, make sure you give that a little while. Might have to grind some of that out there as well. There's a little crease there, but you get the idea. I won't do any more on camera. I'll do this bit for you so you know what's going on. So what I do to make this dry is I use a hot air gun. You must make sure it's dry, because nothing worse than not being dry and you filling over the top of it. Now if you haven't got a hot air gun like so, then you can just use a hairdryer or anything just to dry it off basically. Right, I'm going to go and mix up some filler and we'll skim it up. Okay, so let's get some on, shall we? It's going to look like I'm putting quite a bit on, but trust me, most of it's going to get sanded off. You just got to get the nice shape. Normally I'd have the door wide open doing this, but and as you can see, we don't have to put a lot on, and we're already getting a nice shape. That bit there needs a bit of a pull, and this bit there needs a little bit of a grind. So let's just get these shapes right. pretty good, pretty good. Now you'll never ever repair something like this in one skim. It's just impossible. You normally put the first one in like this, give it a bit of a sand to get a bite again, then you skim it again to get the remaining bits. But to be fair, that's pretty good. So I'll stop there because this is not a video about how to do bodywork. This is a video about how to get the dent out. And if you want to see a bodywork one, just let me know in the comments below and I'll do a bodywork one.